What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Minion Simulator, because today we're talking about the leaderboard competition that ended and it blew my mind. Like, I am still in shock. I saw stuff that I never saw on Roblox before, and I have no words. Now, before I started, guys, I planned on just getting the top 25 prize, and that was it. But something happened and it changed everything for me. Guys, I made the mistake of underestimating this competition, because what happened last time is that the acorns was the game changer for everyone. It was 150 billion and everyone who was trying to compete on the leaderboard were buying them. However, right now I have 577 trillion, which will not get me anywhere. If you look at number 9, number 10, they are far up there, and I don't think that they're gonna stop at that. I think maybe everyone's gonna have 1 quadrillion, or maybe even a little less, but it's such an intense competition and I don't know what to expect. I took the biggest risk ever by just waiting on the Christmas update part 2 to see what the new pet is and if it's gonna be even more powerful than Mrs. Claus, because if so, then I would know what to spend it on. But when I saw what happened and the pet wasn't as good, I kind of felt lost. Like, what am I supposed to do? What do I do here? Do I invest in candy cane elves? Do I do something do I just settle for top 25? I was so confused. But something happened, which is basically a miracle for me. Now, I don't have any permission to say any names. I'm gonna ask if I can mention who helped me out, but for now, something happened, and that's mainly it. Look at my score. That's 1.14 Q, which is quadrillion. That puts me safely on the top 10. However, since this was the case, I wanted to go ahead and buy as many of these candy cane elves. I got 42, then 23 later, and more I kept on buying them just to be as safe as possible on the leaderboard. Now with 24 minutes in, I have 1.17. On the last event, I was on 5th place, 4th place safely. Very safely on there, and I still panicked. However, now look at this. 10th is at 1Q, 9th 1.08, and there are a lot of popular names that are below, and usually these people are on the top 10 leaderboard. So those 24 minutes felt like an eternity. Everything is unpredictable. You just don't know what's gonna happen. Anything could happen at this point. And then as I'm waiting and sitting and looking at the clock and just wondering who's gonna take your spot next, who's gonna take that spot, how far are you gonna drop down? Well, this is what happened. Look at 7th. 7th took my spot, I dropped down to 7th. To describe it to you guys how I felt, imagine not studying for an exam and heading towards the room and going into the exam and you don't know anything, you know that you're gonna flunk it. That's the same feeling. And if that isn't enough to get stressed out about, imagine before the contest ends by 15 minutes, the person that was on rank 9 during that time has written this: trading huges, 1 huge axolotl, huge gorilla, huge headless. I mean, who wouldn't want to trade? Who wouldn't want to have these trades? And look at the stuff that they're buying. That's in the last 15 minutes of this contest. That threw me off. Like, what am I gonna do next? Not to sound overly dramatic, but there are a lot of names below top 10 that could possibly take my spot, and I started to panic. I'll be honest, I started to panic, and I just looked at the numbers, kept on looking at the numbers, just glued to my screen. Now let's talk about the last 44 seconds of this contest. Why 44 seconds? I don't know, I guess that's the only time I bothered to turn around and look at the clock. 44, looking at my gifts, 23 seconds. That's how I knew how much is left on the contest. And I was just looking, okay, Caddy's up there, Nixie's up there, Mazi Mimi 68. Lots and lots of really tough accounts looking at the top 10 leaderboard. Got Chase 1.14, MDC3 at 1.1, Money Time Bot still working out with those huges. You just don't know what to expect. Now, something I did not know until just recently is once the timer runs out, the leaderboard has to refresh, and then when it refreshes, that's the final score. That's everyone finalized. Now look at 5 seconds to the clock, watch rank 8. Rank 8 suddenly disappears from the top 10 and Money Time Bot took that place. But what happened? Like, I was wondering, what happened to the account? What did they do? Like, is this just a statement that they had, like, hey, I could reach top 10? And even so, what happened to the 1.1Q? Who got that? They were at rank 8 and they suddenly vanished. This seemed odd, but another thing that's odd is if you look at the timer, what's left on this gift is 30 minutes and 38 seconds. Now if you notice the next timer after that, 1 minute has passed. The leaderboard is exactly the same as it was 5 seconds before the timer was up, and that's it. You know, if the timer is done with, that should be it, that should be finalized. But no, as it turns out, it's like 1 minute and 20 seconds. That seems to be the refresh time. Rank 11 here also disappeared, and when that happened, I looked at the name, I was like, hey, is that Mimi's alt as well? Is that a different person? But I had to look up and to see what happened. Like, there's so many questions that went to my mind. Is that the final refresh? Did I win? Did I get top 10? And then when I realized this, you know in the movie The Mask, when his jaw drops and hits the table and the tongue rolls out all the way towards the end of the table, the eyes bulge out, that was my reaction. I could not believe it. I cannot believe that they got first place. Congrats to Mazi Mimi68, I've met them, really nice to me, so I have nothing but to say congrats to them on that big win. Now for Carrie and Nixie, if not for them, there's no way I would have gotten top 10. No way at all. I got so much help from them, and the inventory that they gave me to help me out to stay in top 10, they didn't even need. I'm pretty certain that they have huges that they didn't use because they didn't think that they would need it. However, now after seeing this one, maybe they can recalculate and rethink things for the future. But if they wanted to buy the first pet, it's for sale. I cannot even begin to imagine what it's worth, but I can tell you that top 10 usually goes for 450. That's 450, 500 million, it depends. If there's a lot of demand for it or the demand is high, then it's gonna go for a lot. I would say between 450 million to 500 million. And the top 25 pet, it's probably going to be worth like 200 million now, then the next day it drops down to 120. It doesn't look that great, to be honest with you, not compared to the previous ones. I love the previous ones, and I'm going to compare the previous ones to show you guys exactly what I mean. But before I do that, I just wanted to say that I am forever grateful to Carrie and Nixie for even thinking about helping me out, and the reply that I saw from them, I didn't even get permission to say this, but I hope it's okay with them. The reply that I got after they didn't win is something I wish I can say. Like, if I was in their spot, I would be devastated. They weren't. They weren't devastated. They were like, oh, there's always next time. It didn't work out for us this time, but hopefully next time. That says a lot. That really says a lot. But check these out. Sparkly Bunny. Okay. Sparkly Bunny with a bunny pet, or buddy pet, let's say, has Lucky One. I will never use them. They're just like for bragging rights. They don't behave the same as the huges. Now I love the armored turtle. I really love the way it looks like. I just wish they had more animations to it, because now I see some people that are trying to sell it for like 90 million, 80 million, and the top 25 pets, they don't really do so well. Now compared to the first top 25 that was ever released in the game, look at this. How can you not like this? How can you not love this? It looks beastly. It looks much better than the armored turtle, and it has an animation. I think it's really crucial to have animations for these pets to make them more special than the normal ones. However, this top 25 doesn't have the buddy enchant, it just has the normal enchants just like every other pet, and that's why it's not as great and not really wanted. It used to be like worth 125 million. I traded 2 game passes. If you guys watch one of my videos, I traded 2 game passes for it, 25 million value, and I traded it. And someone called me a scammer, but who cares? You know, this is a trading game. It's not about scamming. If one person agrees to a trade, that's it. Case closed. If someone calls you a scammer for getting a good deal, please bear in mind that that's not them telling you you're a scammer. That's them being jealous of you and envious of you. That's nothing to do with scamming. But because if someone does a bad trade, they'll be like, oh, I got scammed, because they don't want to admit that they just had a bad trade. And that's just the way it is. Now this top 25 pet, because of the animations of that bunny, I kind of feel that it's better than the armored turtle. However, this pet, oh my gosh, this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I love the fire tiger. I absolutely adore the fire tiger. I just wish they had animations. Imagine this thing burning up. Imagine it fuming. The animations, maybe the eyes are glowing. That would make it absolutely fantastic. But it's not. It's not. It's like, it's the way it is. It's just like the way it is. Even the tropical phoenix, the #1 pet, just has a simple animation. Now if you look at this one, the dark, oh my gosh, the dark peacock, absolutely beautiful. Wow. Look at this, look at it, look at the aura, look at that galaxy, that, I don't know, looks like a space and time or something. The only thing about it, if I were to be really picky, it kind of reminds me of the Cloud Defender, which is one of the worst pets to get from the exclusive chest that had the huge mage and the huge slayer, which is called the power chest, I believe. It kind of reminds me of the Cloud Defenders, but like really souped up, like really super strong. Look at the enchants, Buddy 3, not very good, but there's only 10 that exist in the game. And then the Fire Tiger, of course, 10 exist, also Buddy 3. Speed Miner, decent enchants, I mean not that great, but like I said before, it doesn't matter, the enchants don't matter. Seeing them side by side, now that's something else. And like I said before, if not for Caddy and Nixie that actually decided to help me out here and offered to help, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much to them. And that's all for today, everyone. I really hope that you enjoyed that. If you did, it would mean a lot to me if you can like the video down below. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are in the world. Happy New Year, and I'll see you all on the next one.